Good afternoon, good afternoon. Good afternoon and a pleasant welcome to Freedom Hub on 87.9. This is the official voice of Freedom Communications Incorporated. My name is Kine Oliver Kine. I'm here today with Princess Alexa Vanjakoli as usual. And jointly we will run up to 6 o'clock today, bringing you all of the issues making the news in Liberia, West Africa, and the rest of our one global village. Too many things happening in the country. Who are those individuals and issues we intend to talk about today? On the first segment of the conversation, we have with us in studio Mr. Wilfred Bangura. Wilfred Bangura is, should I say, a member of the MDR or a suspended member of the MDR? Or whatever it is, he's going to tell us more about his current status with the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction, a party the people say is a property of Senator Prince Yomi Johnson. But again, we are here, and trust me, we're going to be having that conversation where we have few bars of our theme song, and subsequently, we're going to be running into the discussion when we join Studio B, where our guest is pretty seated comfortably, awaiting this identical conversation. Let's take our break to be right back. Okay, so welcome, Alexa. Good afternoon, my dear. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Oliver, and I would like to say good day to everyone who is following the Freedom Hub on 87.9 FM. I'm actually trying to be comfortable. I'm still trying to actually feel comfortable.
It's going to get better.
Yeah, it is. But I would like to say welcome. It has been a very pressuring moment, like for me earlier before I got here, but it's actually great being back, and we have a lot to talk about. So I would like to say welcome to the biggest thing to happen to Liberia about this time, and of course it is on Freedom 87.9 FM. There are a lot of different discussions in every corner right now, as we have just the forthcoming general elections to be few doors away from everyone, and every single day, every single moment you have just something new to talk about. So we have a lot more to talk about today. If you followed our social media platform, we definitely informed you that we're going to have a studio guest here, and I'm sure it is going to be interesting, just judging from the different scenes we've witnessed over the weekend, as well as just a couple of days ago. So we'd like to say welcome.
Okay, so basically we are going to go to Studio B, where our guest is pretty seated. Born in Yekepa, he studied at the University of Liberia Graduate School. He studied at the Liberia Baptist Theological Seminary, and at the same time studied at the Cottington University Graduate School. Went to Bishop Carroll Cagley High School. Are we reading your profile, Mr. Bangura?
I am really astonished. Yes, you are.
Okay. Good afternoon and welcome. Alexa, you want to add him?
You are a great researcher. I must applaud you for that.
Okay. Can we have the ground rules set on to this edition?
Yeah, because when I shared the flyer for the show, I saw a lot of different comments, and someone told me you should definitely go over there with a dictionary. So I'm here to tell you that I'm prepared, and I'll definitely have a dictionary. So whatever you say, we're going to go back to the dictionary and just simplify all of the different things you say for our ordinary people.
Okay, so welcome, and this should be your debut on Freedom Hub.
Absolutely, yes. This is my debut, no less. But I must firstly seize this moment to say how grateful I am to be here in your company and to really I'll just listen to your great questions and tough questions. You guys, you both represent two of the best talk show hosts that I have really followed, and I'm seeing Alexis for the first time in person.
Wow.
It gives me much pleasure. Of course, KOK. KOK.
No, I don't give you pleasure.
But for you, you're my man. You know, we're always together. Yes, but guys, basically, it's really great to be here. And when you touched on just a little, tips of my educational background and some form of my upbringing from Yekipa, I was like, wow, Oliver is a great researcher. So thank you very much for bringing me here, and thank you for Freedom Hub. This program is very electrifying, especially in the evening time. We listen to you religiously, and you're doing a tremendous job here.
Okay, so basically, the conversation today is going to center around you as an individual, your political alignment with the MDR, and where we are at the moment. Now, you want to give us some background of your journey with the MDR, specifically Senator Johnson, and let's keep the conversation rolling from there.
Absolutely, I think that would be a great point of departure for this conversation.
Okay.
I recall back in 2012. I contested an election in Nimba County.
Okay.
I had opted to represent my constituency or my district
In 2011?
if you may, in 2011, and thereupon, I joined the NUDP, the ex-wild party of the senator,
Okay.
and of course, I did not prevail, but I achieved a lot in that election. So that was where we crossed paths. And he asked me to come and work with him in his new political party.
Okay.
So I was asked to serve the post of Assistant Secretary General for Press and Propaganda. And we went to the convention in Ganta. Of course, I was elected to that position, and we started to work. And we stayed with the NUDP until 2013, when there was another convention. But by that time, there was a flare of rancor in the party,
Okay.
and different contesting sides and contesting issues sprung to the fore. And there was some group who formed themselves that they will be expelling the senator from the party.
Okay.
So we went to Grand Bassa County, and of course, the chairperson I remember for that convention was Senator Jeremiah Cone. At that time, he was a representative in the House. I think that was his first term. Yes, first term.
Okay.
So we were there, and he chaired the convention. He ensured that the senator was expelled. That expulsion happened at 2 a.m. in the morning in Grand Bassa.
Grand Bassa.
It was held at the Buchanan, the Grand Bassa school, or you know that 2-story school complex.
Okay.
It's called the Grand Bassa School. Is that correct? Grand Bassa High School.
Sure.
So we were there, and up to two. So we were defeated. Our team was defeated. In fact, the mandate was that.
So by then you stood with Senator Johnson.
I stood with Senator Johnson.
You were against his removal.
Absolutely. I went there along with my team, and we fought very hard.
Okay.
But we did not prevail. Of course, we did not even win any of the positions. And that night, he got expelled from the party under the gavel of Senator Jeremiah Cone. Immediately, Rick Stewart, the former representative, was installed as the new political leader. Rick Stewart had come flanked by his wife, and they were calling her Madam First Lady, and they escorted them to Hotel Buchanan, where they were staying. So I told my colleagues that, listen, we will not stay or stay the night here. We will have to go back to Monrovia, because we were depressed, we were frustrated, and we were young, of course, and we decided that we wouldn't pass the night in Buchanan. So we had to come to Monrovia. And I drove that night. It was very risky, but I took the risk. And I drove that night and brought my colleagues, and I ensured that each of them was dropped at their residence. And I went home. So we gathered on June 2nd. In 2013. We went to see the senator, and we explained to him the ordeal that we went through.
Okay.
You remember that time when the former Secretary General of the NUDP challenged Senator Johnson that he will flog him if he went to Grand Bassa, and the Grand Bassa Legislative Caucus and the then Justice Minister Christiana Tar and other prominent citizens of this country called upon the senator not to go to Grand Bassa because they wanted peace to prevail. Do you remember that incident?
Sure. I mean, that is clear.
Absolutely. So it was in that context.
So you went to Senator Johnson.
So we went there following our defeat, and we went there and we started to regroup.
Okay.
And we said, now that they've taken the party, we are now going to establish what we call the Friends of PYJ.
Okay.
So I became the official spokesperson for the Friends of PYJ. The chairman for the Friends of PYJ was one Dr. Kanua.
Okay.
He works at CARI. And the co-chair lady was one Madam Louise McMillan Siawe. She used to be the assistant minister for culture at MICAT.
Okay.
She was the chair lady. And then the youth chair was one Mr. Leo Wallo. So we then went into the county and started to mobilize and encourage our people that all is not lost. That we will work with the senator from the group called the Friends of PYJ, and we'll continue to keep this torch burning. And eventually, we will have a political party for them.
So before we proceed, further, we want to know exactly what some of the counts, brought up against Senator Johnson in Grand Bassa County that led to his removal. What were they saying?
Well, what we really heard from them was that they had hard evidence that the senator had received substantial cash from the ex-wild President Sirleaf, for support in the second round of the election, in the runoff election.
Okay.
They said they were really confident about that information.
Did they present the evidence?
Well, I did not see any evidence presented.
Okay.
But the Secretary General, Bauko was the chairman. The Secretary General was Medris Ganti and others, the late Benedict Batois, the late Zeli, and a whole host of them were arguing and contending that the senator had received this cash and he wasn't sharing with them.
Okay.
And they thought that was unfair because they were stakeholders in the party.
And he was the only person receiving the money and not allegedly giving some.
Precisely.
Okay.
And we were new. We were just at the fringes, and we had just come on board in 2011. So we were not in any authority of the party, no serious position in the party. We were contesting for the first time as Secretary General, as a matter of fact, in Grand Bassa.
And you all lose the process because
absolutely we were deluged.
Okay.
We were deluged by the propaganda that came from the other side. It was so strong because the determination was firm that they will expel him and he needed no surrogate of his to serve in the executive committee of the party.
Okay. So back to Nimba, you started the mobilization.
So we went back to Nimba and we started to inform our people that all was not lost. We were at the verge of having a new political party born. And I was charged with the responsibility to begin preparatory works to ensure that we achieve that goal. So I became the organizing Secretary General of the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction.
Okay.
I was involved with the canvassing. I was involved with other correspondences that went to the National Elections Commission expressing interest that we wanted to form a political party. I became the registered agent of the political party. So, of course, I oversaw all of the publications. I was also the chairman of the Constitution Committee. So what I did was I worked with one very esteemed young Nibayan called Bovade Bedia. I worked with him, and we looked at the constitution of the ex-wild NUDP, and we tried to borrow from there, not to sort of reinvent the wheel, but we tried to have a refined version of that constitution for the MDR.
Okay.
So I labored very hard for the establishment of the MDR. Then we went to, we got certificated, and then we went to our first convention in 2016, and I was elected RSD National Secretary General. But I must also hasten to say that the year 2013 was a particularly challenging political year for the political survivor of Senator Johnson.
Okay.
In that year, he got expelled from the NUDP. In that same year, he got suspended from the Liberian Senate on the charge of having a conversation with the former police director. That was Colonel Mulba. I think that's Clarence Massaquoi. That he was chairman on security and defense.
Chris
Massaquoi.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Chris Massaquoi. So he had advised Chris Massaquoi not to come. I remember that time. And then he was also expelled from the Nima County Legislative Caucus.
Okay.
That same year, it was a year of his nidar.
Mm-hmm.
It was a year where he sank to the lowest level of political depravity. That year was a year when I was the lone voice across the length and breadth of this republic, unqualifiedly identifying with him and pontificating the political values and virtues and the necessity of having him installed into office and keeping him as the senator for Nimba, because I believed at that time that he meant well, and I believed at that time that was the best thing to do. That he was the political leader of the party, and I thought that he was unjustly expelled from his own party. I thought there was no due process. I thought he was never written. I thought he had never appeared before any board of inquiry, so that he can give evidence, so that evidence can be weighed and see if he was found culpable. I felt that was jungle justice, and I could not stand for that. On the basis of that, I stood by his side, shoulder to shoulder, and I fought really, really hard. And as spokesperson for the Friends of PYJ. So that's how throughout the Nimba land and in the Republic of Liberia, a lot of people have got to know me as a very strong ally and supporter of Senator Johnson. So I played this role.
Okay. So that was done. 2014 came. He went to the process.
Absolutely. So 2014 came. Of course, I was the spokesperson for his campaign in Nimba. 2014, I was by his side. It was during the Ebola time, and he won a great victory in Nimba. And so we had our party, and we had the senator. Of course, in 2014, he ran as independent candidate because the party was born in 2016.
Okay.
But so in 2014, he won against Madam Edith Gongolo Ware, and then so we started to we continue to champion his cause and to ensure that he regained his political grounds in Nimba.
And then in 2016, the MDR was officially
officially certificated, officially born and brought to the fore in 2016.
So we go fast forward. You've been with him all through the 14. From 2013, 14 up to 16. When the party, became legitimate. Then in 2017, you had this, collaboration with the CDC.
Absolutely. But so let me speak to that. So in 2017, when we got certificated, our determination was that he will continue to press for the presidency.
Okay.
He has ran 2011 unsuccessfully, and then in 2017 he was going to try again. So we had a new political party now called the MDR, and we prepared him as a presidential candidate for our party. And he nominated his vice running mate, Madam Audrey Smith Forbes from Grand Bassa. And we formed the team, and we put him in the field, and we went around this country canvassing and making a case. But interestingly, during that election campaigning period, the same Jeremiah Coon, who presided over the Grand Bassa County Convention of the MDR in 2013, had come back to the MDR on his knees and begging.
Okay.
And we accepted and allowed him in our party. And he was a candidate on the party's ticket in 2017.
Leaving the NUDP up.
But at that time, the NUDP had been delisted and decertificated because the Rick Stewart, who was installed as a new political leader, perhaps was reneging or was weary of his financial support. So he did not meet next requirement in terms of financials. So the party got decertificated. Now they were without a party. So he came back to us.
Okay.
We accepted him without any precondition.
Representative Kuhn then.
So he came back to the MDR, and he was now contesting on the ticket of the MDR. I was the Secretary General. I nominated him.
Okay.
So he brought the nomination papers to my office, and I gladly appended my signature, and I nominated him without even asking any single question about what had happened in the past. Because as far as we were concerned, we were never, we thought that he has the democratic rights to express, and he did that, and we're prepared to move forward.
Okay.
And so but the most interesting thing about it is that while the senator was running for president in 2017, Jeremiah Coon was canvassing, campaigning overtly, openly for the presidential bid of the former vice president, Joseph Boakai.
Okay.
And this thing hurt the senator so much more. It hurt him to the core because in most of our conversation, the senator will bring this up, that Jeremiah Kun is not supporting me. And I continue to get evidence about this. He is with Joseph Boakai, and he is campaigning for Joseph Boakai, although he is a candidate on our party's ticket, but he is campaigning for Joseph Boakai. And we will tell him, we believe this is his democratic rights. Let him go on. We will stick by your side. We will campaign for you, and we will ensure that you will get reelected.
Okay.
And we did that.
So then came the first round of the election.
And so then the first round of the election came and passed. Of course, there was a second round. And during that second round, of course, there were consultations happening, conversations happening in the background, and people were building alliances and collaborations. And we deliberated as executive committee members. And we thought that the wave of change, the wild wind of change that was blowing across Liberia was pointed in a clear direction.
Okay.
That the country needed change and the country needed a new leader. And that leader would be Ambassador George Weah.
Okay.
He had won 13 counties by landslide. So it was very clear and incontrovertible that this man wouldn't win any election. So it was going to be a good thing to help the country, the rest of the people, to give our support.
Okay.
So while that support was being given to the election of the president, Jeremiah Kun was on the other side, giving support to Joseph Boakai. So this has been a consistent pattern that he has never deviated from. He has never at any point supported the political dreams or political vision of Senator Johnson. We have stuck by his side.
We're gonna talk about the commitment to Senator Johnson and the rest of it. Now, my concern has to do with the conversations you guys held at the time, the collaboration talks. You know, you had the collaboration talks going on. What was the exact term of reference of that collaboration? Was it, like you support the CDC when they come to power, they will guarantee you particular ministries and agencies, they will give you this amount of jobs, perhaps some monetary, contributions. Was there any kind of conversation around that?
Yes.
Okay.
There was a great conversation around there. And let me tell you, KOK.
Was the president supposed to appoint Nimbayans?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And which he did. And let me also tell you that I was not on the fringes.
Okay.
I was in the full front of this development. And I know my counterpart then in the CDC were Councilor Charles Gibson,
okay,
Professor Wilson Tape, and the others. And I represented my party with Madam Adrian Smith Forbes, the vice presidential candidate to Senator Johnson.
She's currently at the Ministry of...
She is at Youth and Sports. She's the Deputy Minister for Administration there.
Sure.
So we were on the table. And what we stated clearly in our agreement were that we needed 2 cabinet positions.
Okay.
We needed...
When you say we, were you referring to the party or Nimba County?
This is the position of the MDR.
MDR.
As sanctioned by Senator Johnson. So we are negotiating now. So we're on the table negotiating.
So you said at that level in 2017, you guys from the MDR made it clear to the Coalition for Democratic Change by then
that these are the positions
that we will need
we want.
2 cabinet positions.
We will need 2 cabinet positions.
Okay. What were the conditions attached?
Then we said, I want to go down the list and let's do our fair analysis of the performance of that agreement. Because it's very important to go into these things.
Sure.
So we will need 2 cabinet positions. And they told us, well, we can give you 2 cabinet positions. We can give you 1 cabinet position.
Okay. And you guys agreed to that?
And we agreed to that.
The MDR of Senator Johnson agreed to that?
We agreed to that.
Okay.
And we said we needed 6 deputy ministerial positions. And we needed 4 assistant minister positions.
Were there a list of ministries that you needed those people to
there
come
were
from?
no particular ministries.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And then we said we needed to recommend local government from NIMBA.
Okay.
And so what happened? We wanted 4 deputy ministerial positions and 6 assistant ministerial positions. So we got 1 cabinet position that we said we wanted. We got that cabinet position. In terms of deputy ministerial positions, we got 3 deputy ministerial positions. We should have gotten 4. We got 3.
Okay, from that's
angle, myself.
From the angle of the MDR.
I'm discussing from the angle of the MDR.
Okay.
So just get context.
Mhm.
And I was the lead negotiator. I was on the table,
Mhm.
and I was flunked by the vice running mate Tor Senator Johnson.
So the both institutions agree on one ministerial position.
We agreed.
Okay.
We agreed, and these things were written and signed by the senator, and a copy was sent to the president.
So one ministerial position was awarded Honorable Cooper Craft.
So he got the ministerial position. But let me let you know
Mhm.
that, because you mentioned the name, so let me tell you the role he played.
Okay.
He had come to the senator to lobby him to support Joseph Boakai
Okay.
in 2017.
Mhm.
I stood up to the old man. I said, this is not going to happen.
Okay.
I said, the wave of change is blowing across this country. The president is the preferred choice of the people.
Mhm.
The facts are written everywhere
Okay.
on the wall.
Mhm.
If you don't mean well for the young people of MDR, you don't mean well for the young people of this country, please do not ill advise this party on how to proceed.
That was what you told Mr.
That was
Craft.
when I told Mr. Cry, and
Okay.
and he kept mute, and he didn't say anything further.
Okay.
Now he benefited the most because
He became the
he
only
became the only minister
minister.
that we lobby for.
Okay.
Let me go down the list.
The other deputy
So we
ministers.
said we wanted 4 deputy ministerial positions.
Mhm.
So then myself,
Mhm.
Madam Smith,
Madam Smith.
the DMA for Youth and Sports,
Mhm.
Mr. George Abu Gonta,
Okay.
the deputy minister for energy.
Mhm.
So we have 1 pending.
Mhm.
The assistant ministerial positions, we have the Secretary General, the young Melvin Yelu,
Okay.
who is EMA at Ministry of Post and Telecommunications.
Mhm.
The president appointed the Director General of Higher Education, Dr. Wonkeyo,
Mhm.
which you want to say is an equivalent of you can find equivalent, a cabinet or a deputy ministerial position. You can find that equivalent.
Sure.
We also know that 103 in the police is a recommendation of the senator.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
We know that the president of the Nima County Community College is our recommendation.
Mhm.
We also know that the local government, all of the local government office in Nimba, all of these people were recommended by the senator.
Okay.
There are other recommendations that happened behind the scene, which did not even come through the party. These people are in positions today. People, pointed out to us that the Ministry of Health
Mhm.
was recommended by the senator because this is his personal doctor.
Okay.
They pointed that out, and I asked him. He had not disputed that to date.
Okay.
So if you ask me about the performance rate,
Yeah,
performance rate of that agreement, that
Mhm.
agreement had performed about more than 95%.
So I mean, let's hold back a bit. The senator and your political institution went into an agreement, and you agree on particular positions to be given from a ministerial, deputy ministerial position, and so forth. Now, when you question him about Minister Wilhelmina Njala at the Ministry of Health, and according to you, he did not refute that information. Did you also follow up, in questioning him as to why he will make such a recommendation outside of the framework of your collaboration with the CDC?
Well, most things were done that way. Most decisions were done arbitrarily
Okay.
in the MD era. So it wasn't really something very strange.
Okay.
I forgot to mention my big brother Sultan Tatis, a commissioner at NTA,
Mhm.
LTA.
Okay.
LTA was recommended.
The Telecommunication
Absolutely,
Authority.
was recommended by, in fact, to the point where I have colleagues in the MPP
Mhm.
who will become jealous of the MDR on grounds that we have benefited so much more than themselves, who are members of the coalition. And I would say to them, well, you are the guys who have the government, and you can make a better case than we do.
Mhm.
So I remember. So when somebody says that the people have not been given job, the Bayans have not been given job, I see this as sheer hypocrisy.
Okay.
Because I was on the table negotiating for these jobs. So if you look at the performance record,
And
performance rate, it's more than 95%.
And Mr.
Let the truth be told.
Mr. Bangura, that is my concern. Were those who were to be recommended by your party, was there a criteria set that they will all be Nimbayans? In the absence of being a Nimbayan, you will not be qualified.
No. The CDC was not concerned about that.
Okay.
This was a negotiation based on mutual understanding. Just recommend your people
Mhm.
to me,
Mhm.
and I will appoint them into government.
So
The CDC was not concerned whether or not these people were Gio people, or Manon people, or
Mhm.
Mabinko, or Crown people. As far as they were concerned,
in as much as they came from the
our
MDR.
party is predominantly a Nima-based political party,
Mhm.
and most of these recommendations are Nibians.
Okay.
Most of us, more than almost 98% of us.
So
are Nibians.
so you guys are running a Nimba party.
Well, the party is based in Nimba, but,
Okay.
but it's not necessarily a Nimba party. We tried as much as we could to have this party decentralized. We went to various conventions and we stated that we need to bring people from other persuasions in our ranks,
Okay.
so that it does not appear that this is a trouble party. Because when you come under that rubric of a trouble party, you may not easily win election. You need other counties to join you to win. But predominantly we have been based, and we have been acting as if this party belongs to Nimba, because everything about the party we will say Nimba, and Nimba, we've never heard advocates or advocacy about Lofa, or advocacy about Mangibi, but everything would be about Nimba and Nimba and Nimba. And some of us have been very annoyed about that. We thought that was tribal bigotry, and we thought that needs to be changed. Because if really you want to win, the minds and hearts and souls of Liberians, you must make them believe that they are part of your institution. So we have people who left other counties and followed our vision. We must not ostracize them. We must not make this thing to look like it's all about Nimba. And so once you give it that semblance, people will begin to recoil and to shy away from whatever you are doing, and you may not achieve your dreams or your objectives. So we've stood very tall against these kinds of negative perception that you cannot run a county-based political party. But again, the rhetorics and everything will represent to everybody that this is the perception that had been lingering in the head of the visionary or vision bearer of the party.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, unless I want to come in,
yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so before she come in with her question, the senator accused the government, specifically the president, of doing little in Nimba County. That is where you're from. You're a son of Yekepa, a Nimbayan, so to speak. From the period we've had under this administration, what's your own observation with reference to development in Nimba County?
Upon hearing that, I disagreed with the senator in private first.
Okay.
And I told him, let's have a conversation about it. Please prove this to me. Because what I see on the grounds is contradicting what you're saying. This way of playing politics, wherein you turn a county or a people against a sitting government, is bad.
Okay. You told Senator Johnson
I advised him
okay.
to refrain from that. If there are personal issues, they must be discussed on a personal note. But to involve a people, a whole county, and make it look like it's a sin that has been committed against the county, I said is bad, it's totally unacceptable, and it's totally uncalled for. But let's look at what you're talking about. And I pointed out to him that Nimba has benefited the most roads. Now, the roads we're talking about in Nimba are very strategic economic corridors. We're not just talking about just any road. These are major international roads. When we mention the road from Ganta to Yekepa, you stated that I'm from Yekepa. That's correct.
Okay.
I schooled there and grew up there. I came to this city 2005. So I know the geography and demographics of Yekepa too well.
Okay.
That road is an international road. That road leads through the Guinean town called Bosu. It goes into Tio, it goes into Bosu, it goes into Lola, it goes into Zerikuri. Then you're on your way to Conakry. So that is a very familiar terrain for us. The road from Ganta is going to connect you all the way into Guinea.
Okay.
It's an international corridor. And let me also state that the road from Tio to Bosu to Lola is not paved. It's really very deplorable. But you're going to have a paved road from the Liberian side. And that economic corridor is very active. It's very busy. So you have a lot of people using the corridor. When I was in Yekepa those days, we used to trek from Yekepa all the way to Saninkuli to come to church, to come for church convention.
Okay.
We didn't really have money those days, and there were no pen those days, and we would just walk. But it was really difficult to traverse that corridor. I just came from up, and as a matter of fact, I'm always there. But I just came from there to do my BVR, and from Ganta to Yekepa would normally take me 45 minutes from Ganta to Saninkuli, and then another 30 minutes So you want to talk about what, an hour and a half or more from Ganta into Yekipa. But do you want to know how much time I spent on that road? So I spent less than 15 minutes from Ganta to Saninkuli.
Okay.
And so from Saninkuli to Yekipa was just a stone throw away, although the Kuta hasn't reached Yekipa yet, but it's on its way there. And so I started to talk to people about the road. How do you feel about this road? So they said, look, it has drastically reduced the cost of transportation. So people who were paying $2,500 on motorbikes to come from Saninkuli to Ganta will have that amount dwarfed by half or even less than that just to come. And I also visited the corridor from Saninkuli into Logwatuo. You would not believe it. You could put a cup of tea on your lap and ride on that road with ease, and it's so smooth. And the people have never seen the road before. That is an international corridor.
Okay.
That road takes you into the border into Africa Coast. That is a viable economic corridor. It means that the entire economy has been open to an international level. That trade will begin now to be elevated at a higher level, where traders from Liberia will be trading with Ivorians and with Guineans.
Okay.
And this could have a huge positive return on our economy.
Okay.
So this is not just like any road. Then you want to consider the road from Ganta into Saklepi and go into the southeast, another very viable corridor. So when you look at these roads and you look back and see under President Sirleaf, these roads were never there.
Okay.
And the people know this. These developments are very visible. They appreciate this every day. Look, the people in Nimba of today are people who look forward to transforming the county. They want to be the apotheosis of development across the length of this country. They want to be the best example of development. Do you see the spiraling homes, story buildings going on with the stable and consistent electricity, the multiplicity of economic activities going on, and how Ganta has been transformed into a burgeoning economic hub for this republic? So this is these developments tie into that, and it's going to propel this country's GDP, and the people are aware of that. So if you talk about infrastructure, there are market buildings going on. City Hall is being constructed. Schools are being constructed. And then you talk about human capital development. Young and old Nimbayans have got the opportunity to work for their country. When these people hear these incendiary rhetorics coming from the senator, they don't feel good about it. They don't feel happy about it. But I have always undertaken it as my task to advise the senator that this is time that we refrain from pontificating these baseless claims, because this should no longer be about personal utilitarianism. It should be about what we call social utilitarianism, which is the summa bonum, what is best for the overarching majority of the people. It's about vast public interest. So your advocacy must not be about personal self. I also want to comment on this, that I seriously do not really see the real reason for the strained relations between the senator and the government.
Okay.
I know this, that no relationship is perfect. I understand that. Even in homes, people who've been married for 50 years will tell you that. You always have the rise and fall. So there's no perfect relationship. But I know that the government, the president, has respected the senator all along, even to this day.
You're one person who have been heavily involved with the conversation between the CDC and the MDR. Now, up to 2020, we had a smooth, relationship existing with the two institutions. A product of that arrangement is the election of Senator Jeremiah Kun, where the CDC did not put up a candidate in Nimba County. Now, after 2021, after 2020, we went to 2021. In the middle of 2021, we started to get gossip about, people having disenchantment over the arrangement. What exactly went wrong? You want to tell us, from an in-house perspective.
Well, look, I tell you this. Look, if you look at the senatorial election of Jeremiah Kun, you realize that the CDC played a very tremendous role in getting that man elected. Had the CDC introduced a candidate, we would have had a different senator from Nimba. I can tell you this. It's based on facts. It's based on evidence that to have won Nimba by a razor-thin margin, we were sitting at the edges of our seats, holding our breath, because we could not stand the sight of losing Nimba.
Okay.
It would have fundamentally undermined our political relevance.
So
in
you're
Nimba.
saying even with the presence of Senator Johnson, had the CDC put up a candidate, it would have been a difficult thing?
we would have had a different senator from all empirical data. If you look at the vote margin, the difference between the two people, between Madam Ware and Mr. Kuhn, is so razor thin. Look, I tell you this, that Madam Ware put up a very strong fight across Nimba. And of course, you know from data that Jeremiah Kuhn lost his own district number 1. In Ganta, he lost Ganta twice. And so some of us who are researchers, we began to find, to try to find explanation for that pattern. Why would you lose your own district twice? The district you just presided over sees you in a senatorial election. That district gets won by your rival, by Madam Edith Gonglo Ware, by a landslide margin. So then we realized that he had really been maintaining that district based on the phenomenon of trucking people. I know that he trucked a lot of people from Yekipa. He trucked a lot of Gribble people from Yekipa. I know the Pates.
Why are you mentioning Gribble people?
Because I'm friends with the Pates, and the Pates told me that they had just come from Ganta from registering for Senator Kuhn now. I was running that election too, and I have a problem because these are my good friends. They would have voted for me had they remained in Yekipa. And most of them told me the Southeasterners basically were trucked into Ganta. Most of the Southeasterners were trucked into Ganta. And so the Southeasterners told me, we're in school together. Come on. So all the guys are my buddies. And they would tell me, my man, had we stayed here, we would have voted for you. But right now, we cannot vote.
Is this a clever way of trying to link Kuhn's truest identity to the Southeast?
No, I am telling you the truth, that the people he trucked, mostly from Yekipa, I know about Yekipa because I was there. My friends from Area K, people from Area H, some of them from Area P. He didn't truck people from EB. Those are staff quarters. We call them staff quarters or staff areas. But he trucked people from the other area. You want to call them squalors. You want to call them slum dwellers. Well, that's up to you. You have people from S1 and Area Q. These people were trucked heavily into Ganta. And they registered there for him.
Were they all Southeasterners?
And I have most of them were predominantly. So I had a problem with them. So I told my friends, I told all my friends, the parties and other people, I told them, I said, but listen, you all know that I'm running here. I'm your boy. I'm running here. We all from Kara High, grew up in this community, and yet you would disenfranchise yourself and disenfranchise me. I mean, this opportunity, this good opportunity, I'm running. At least I thought you guys would have stayed here to participate in the process. I would have gotten the numbers. So they told me, they said, well, we're sorry, but we registered in Ganta.
Okay.
So during the senatorial election, he couldn't bring these people to vote for him. He lost miserably in district number 1 twice.
Okay.
He won the senatorial election by a razor-thin margin with the help of the CDC. He must be thankful to the CDC. We even heard that the CDC helped him with tremendous chunk of cash to campaign through our left and breath from Nimba with the help of the CDC. We know this. So, I am always constantly disappointed. People become so ungrateful and become so evil that they want to pay good for bad.
When people become so evil.
When people become evil, we have a just God who sits up high. He looks at men and he vetoes the schemes of evil men. And when people lose values and morals, they tend to settle for anything. But men must be people who can be measured in terms of what they can accept and what they can stand for. You must have some values to stand for. Politics is not just a game of immorality. No. Politics is a game of government. It's a game where you come to serve public interest. It's a game where you seek to leave legacy. It's a game where posterity will judge you back. And they may even visit that judgment upon your children and your children's children. So the way you obtrude yourself in the public space must be done circumspectly. I thought that the two senators have never treated the government well. I thought, I believe this sincerely to the core of my heart, that even if you get insatiated with ambition, there's nothing wrong with having ambition, but there's something called morality. You must be able, to make decisions based on just causes, not fabricated tales, and not personal aggrandizement that you want to take and make it look like this is something that the county holds dearly. The county disagree. That county does not belong to one group of people. It doesn't belong. In fact, the MDR itself is not a dominant political party in Nimba. The MDR has got only 3 seats in Nimba. 2 of those seats, we struggled to win them. We labored to win those 2 seats. And I speak of the seat in District 4. The margin was so razor thin that you would never imagine.
And Garrison
Yelu, it ended up in court.
Sure.
Is this dominant political hegemony that anybody wants to cling onto? No, there's no empirical data to prove that. Even no regression analysis will prove that. The senatorial election was also equally razor thin. So it's a county we are struggling to gain grips on.
The by-election in Gunter as well.
Absolutely. We lost miserably. Honestly, I will tell you the truth. I will concede today that I did not believe we would have lost the by-election in Nimba. I was stricken and bitten by the old theory of this quasi and quack political dominance in Nimba, which is purely delusional, if not illusional. It does not exist. That thing does not jibe with the reality of the day. We do not command any dominance or influence in Nimba. When I say we, my party, the MDR, no.
Okay.
But we are fond of using the Nimba people. No, MDR is not a Nimba political party. It's based in Nimba. But you have the United Party I think I got 3 or 2 seats. CDC has got a seat. I lost to the CDC candidate in my district number 3.
Okay.
We have always struggled. The only time there was this political dominance was in 2011 when the NUDP won 7 seats out of 9 seats. That was political dominance. But those days are long gone by. The tectonic plates of politics has since shifted. The groundswell has changed.
Okay.
The reality is different. It's no more the same. So there's talk about Nimba would do this, Nimba would do that. It's mere pastoring. This is gladiatorial talk. It has no basis in evidence.
Bangura, there was a decision made by your party to part ways with the CDC. What was your role?
That decision was arbitrary.
Okay.
So you asked me a question whether we were informed about days when the senator said this. I said no. I said arbitrary things had always happened in the MDR to the annoyance of most level-headed people, such as myself.
How was the decision
and other
reached?
people. It was unilateral, and it was based on that I decided to now publicly disagree.
I think that's where my concern is, and based on exactly all of the things you've said earlier, I guess a lot has happened and there has been transition. So over the period you've been with the senator, you've supported him. So in other words, you want to say you have contributed to his success politically, as you've always been there. And regarding what you said about the negotiations with the CDC, where you had, to make several different clauses or, requests for people who will be maybe ministers, deputy ministers and assistant ministers, in all of those different positions. Now, we have gotten to a point right now politically where MDR and CDC, they're no longer together. They've, parted ways, and a lot of people would like to look forward to a lot of you who had influence in the party, or a lot of you who, played a major role in making sure that the MDR was established. Now, as a space where we are, and you say a lot of the decisions were made maybe by the senator, and you guys were basically not informed, or you guys did not, have any say in it. Now, where are you in terms of all of these different discussions and all of the different misconceptions? Were you really possibly aware that this is something that was going to happen?
Yes, I was aware that it was going to happen.
And what did you do?
I had a premonition about these events since last year. When I heard news in the corridors that the senator was attempting to bring Jeremiah Kun as the political leader of our party, I asked him several times, because I remember the history of Jeremiah Kun. I could see this thing picturesquely. I was in the hall in 2013, and I watched this man presiding over a convention that ousted the political leader of the NUDP. I saw this man once again rearing his face into the MDR, and I became very critical. I thought that decision needed to be rethought and revisited.
Okay.
And so then I said, okay, I'm going to be contesting for the chairmanship of the party. Because in the event where there could be a situation where somebody may want to use the party for their own personal gain. Then we must be able to erect the checkpoints.
Right.
And he saw this, so he conspired with the senator, and they played the politics. I was denied the chairmanship. In fact, I did not even contest on the floor. We went to the convention. It was funny. And when I said democracy has left the MDR, it didn't just leave the MDR yesterday. It left ever since. The delegates who converged on Ganta to participate in the convention did not even get to interact with the candidates. In fact, there were no candidates to even parade themselves before these people, to even quiz these people, or talk less of casting ballots for leaders of the party. No. The leadership was imposed on the people. A list was drawn on Jeremiah Coon's farm. I was left way behind, as if I did not even matter in the MDR. I didn't mind. The reason why I didn't make noise of it, because somebody would say, oh, because they did not include him, that's why he's trying to fight the people. I let it be.
Why?
Because, again, of the same propaganda.
No, you are an educated person. Your party should have a constitution, and there should be ways around these issues.
And precisely. And so I tell you this, that somebody felt for me and say, you know what? The man was acting chairman. He took this party to where it is today. He brought it to this convention. We have ostracized him, and this is not fair to him. So let's just feel sorry for him and give him one vice chairman position.
And you gladly accepted.
I still took that, because for me, it's not about position.
But don't you think you were nurturing,
no,
something that will undermine the rule of law?
No,
because
no, I wanted to be a part of the executive committee
at the detriment of violating the party constitution.
Well, but I needed to be inside so that I can use a platform to elevate my voice.
Okay.
Otherwise than that, I wouldn't be able to make any much difference, or to even disagree, because I wouldn't know or what they're planning. You know. So yeah, so I accepted that. Of course, these names were read, and people stood up, and then they said, "Raise your hands," and we were inducted in the office. The delegates were disappointed. They've never seen that mockery of democracy in their lives. Some of them held placards. Some of the placards read, "No Bangura, no convention." If some of you were following very closely, you must have seen some of those.
Okay.
I went there, even told some of the placards I didn't want my name to take center stage. I already had my misgivings, but I decided that I would address this maturely. So we came from there, and then the next thing we heard was that the convention, which had given a mandate to the new political leader, Jeremiah Coon, to begin to get a running mate to run for the presidency, we heard that he was now going to Cummins, along with other Nibayans, to go and lobby for something. I don't know what that was, but they were in conversation with Cummins, and I was perplexed. But I had to wait.
Your MDR was in conversation with Mr. Cummins.
That Jeremiah Coon, the new leader of the party, was in conversation with Cummins.
Okay.
We heard that. So we were waiting to really see the evidence and find what the evidence was. Then we heard that no, he's no longer with Cummins, because Prince Johnson said that Cummins is a gay man, so he wouldn't support Cummins. And so Jeremiah Coon now wants to lobby his way into becoming the vice running mate to our Ambassador Joseph Boakai.
So all of the talks that were held, you were saying that you guys were not aware of all of the different talks.
Absolutely, nobody is aware, and nobody from the executive committee can tell you, or tell me with a straight face, that they ever participated in any such decision. So what I concluded on was that Senator Coon just wanted to build his profile in order to lobby to be an equal contender for, and I've never heard anybody contending before for the post of being selected as a running mate. I have never, strange things that happen. This is really, really surreal. I have never heard about that before, but strangely enough, that was the case. So I was like, so our party convention, gave a mandate that this man. So I told him, I said, but why is the running mate? We should be talking about running mate, and not to be talking about Joseph Boakai. We're in one meeting. So I said, but who are these people? These were Unity Party envoys. I said, but who are these people? It was from that point that they said, no, this man is becoming too critical.
Okay.
So
we were not going to allow him. So I said, well, I questioned the people. Who are these people? How come they're coming here? How come they're emissaries of Joseph Boakai? And how did he get in touch with them? they got in touch with you, or you got in touch with them. Explain this drama. I don't understand.
So you were asking the political leader.
I was asking Jeremiah Kung and the political leader
Okay.
when the guests had left. So it was at that point now that they realized that this man wants to be a tongue in our flesh, and the best way to proceed with him is to ostracize him. But I could not be easily contained, because you see, I understand political party politics, but I also knew that they were trying to build a scheme, something that they can use as a means of break away. Because I was hearing talks that they would not support the president again, etc., etc. And I told them that, but then this matter must be brought before the National Executive Committee to deliberate on, and we can make a decision, because some of us have a different opinion of this matter. Some of the things we're hearing about Nibans are not in government. The government has not lived up to the MOU signed between the party and the CDC. I said these things are not true, because there are measurements for these things, and we have the data that we can look at, and we believe these people are performed. And I have seen a fledgling relationship between the president and the senator. Personally, I've seen how the government will make a road, asphalt road, to the home of the senator. This is a mark of huge respect. I have seen that. I have seen how the senator's birthday will be almost like a national event, wherein the president will grace and make contribution to celebrate his birthday.
Okay.
I thought
What kind of contributions?
Well, he made contributions towards
contributions.
financial contributions, moral contributions.
Okay.
Towards the successful hosting of the senator's birthday. He did not stop there. He graced the occasion, and the senator opined that this man deserves a second term. I mean, a third term, if it were possible to amend the Constitution to keep this man in power for the third time.
Senator Johnson said that
he did that. He's on record. He's on tape
at his birthday.
Yes, he did that. He said that at his birthday. I mean, so we were all happy. But then, out of a sudden, in the last couple of months, nearly 4 to 5 months, the rhetorics began to change, and I could not really have a foothold on how things would change so fast and what had really happened. I could not really find it. So I disagree that men must not carry themselves this way. There must be reason, and people must be dialogical.
Well, you were on the table when it came to the different discussions you had before going to the coalition or before supporting the president in 2017. I stand corrected on that. And after that, of course, the president won the election, and he was, of course, sworn into office and all of those different things. So the senator still supported the president while, he became president from 2018 forward, because there are several different recordings where the senator even fought a couple of different people from the opposition who said things about the president and said that, the president was not going to be reelected. Now, you played a key role. I think this is where I still have a lot of concerns, and I'm not really sure that all of the different concerns I have, they've been, addressed. So you played a major role. You were on the table in terms of the different discussions you had. You were on the table in terms of, people who were to benefit. And you said specifically it was mostly focused on members of MDR. And it was not solely about Nimbayans, because if you listen to recent, discussions or recent statements from the senator, it's always on the president did not really prioritize Nimbayans and did not really give jobs to Nimbayans based on the discussions we had prior to the elections. And now here we are with the senator not supporting the re-election of the president again. And you're here saying you were not aware of all of the different, talks they had where, Kong had to go to Cummins, and later on now he's, at Joseph Yuman Boakai. So did you reach out to the senator personally as a person who has always been by his side? Have you reached out to him? Did you actually listen to what would have been, maybe one of the reasons that, made him definitely not to support the president? Did you really go beyond just all of these different rhetorics? Did you go beyond that to talk to him personally?
Yes, I did. And
what was his response?
Well, he told me that for 3 years, he was stopped by Lieutenant McGill from meeting with the president. And he has always repeated this, that he was stopped from seeing the president that he helped to bring to power for 3 years. But at the same time, he would show me text messages he exchanges with the president. That there is not a single message in his phone that the president had not replied to. And he would also tell me he just got off the phone with the president.
I mean, but being on the
Yeah,
phone
so-
and exchanging
and
messages.
he was, so my advice to him had been
Mhm.
that, listen, it means that you are in talks with the president. If you have misgivings about anything,
Mhm.
you have an avenue to the president. You have an open pathway to the president. He calls you, you call him.
Perhaps he wanted to see the president most often in person.
Rather than just talk on the
so I
phone.
told him, I said, then tell him. So what stops you from telling the president that, Mr. President, I'm on a phone call and I'm saying, Mr. President, I'd like to see you in person tomorrow. And let the president say, no, I cannot see you.
Okay.
So I told him, I said, you need to see the president. I said, tell him how you feel. If you feel any way, tell him how you feel. And he will listen to you. But have you ever told him that you wanted to meet with him because he had to clear your chest and he denied you? Has that ever happened? And he would say, no. But I expect that Miguel would do this and do that. I said, but if Miguel is not doing it and you are indirect, you have open line to the president. So why wouldn't you reach out to the president and tell him about your misgivings? So I believe he had unfettered access,
Okay.
an avenue.
So that was
the
reason
president.
enough to have left the coalition to have stopped supporting the president.
Another thing he told me
Mhm.
was that he supported the president, but Jeremiah Kun is benefiting more from the president.
Oh, I mean, who brought
Wait,
Jeremiah Kun to the
because-
president?
because he believes he says the president says Jeremiah Kun is his Eastern brother. Jeremiah Kun is his I think crew brother or so, or son of brother or so. So he became jealous of that connection, and he decided that he will put the two brothers here together.
But you've been in the party. Was Jeremiah Kun benefiting more than Senator Johnson?
Johnson.
I think Jeremiah Kun had a personal relationship, a strong personal relationship, not only with the president, but with lieutenants around the president.
Okay.
I believe that. I believe he had a great relationship with Mr. Tuer, Mr. McGill. And these people were having this relationship with him because Senator Johnson introduced Jeremiah Kun as his walking stick.
Okay.
Well-
and as his operations man. So they were not wrong for having a relationship with NIMBA leaders or NIMBA senators.
Mhm.
They were not in the heart to feel the sentiments of the senator, but he was not just letting it out to them how he felt. So he kept these things and he started to act upon them.
What is this thing about Jeremiah Kun, Gribble, Southeast in Nimba? What is the conversation? Is the man not in Nimba?
He is an Ibayan. I see him as an Ibayan. I see him as a brother. I don't see him. Of course, we all have roots. I mean, nobody fell from the sky.
Okay.
Nobody came from under the ground.
Mhm.
People came from different places.
Okay.
So we're not really interested.
Some of your people say
Originally
he's
he's not
not
from Nimba
an
County.
original Nibayan.
Yeah, but I think he's a Kun. I think his father used to live in Ganta.
Okay.
He used to call himself the honorable mayor of Ganta.
Okay.
He lived there. He worked with the company in Lamco.
Mhm.
But yes, his father came from the southeast.
Okay.
Okay.
And he settled in Ganta and met his mother because this story, this is open knowledge, common knowledge. Everybody knows that. Most people, his father just passed away recently.
Nimbayans, do you people see Kun as your brother,
Your son.
Your son, your father, without any?
Yes, we do. We see him as a brother. We
and-
see him as a brother.
The way you,
I don't want to go into tribal politics
Because
I don't-
there are concerns from
I don't-
people
I
and
don't,
they're questioning his sense of belonging or maybe his identity. And it is said that a lot of people in Nimba, they have concern about that as to whether he is to be, respected or he is to be looked at as a person who is
I tell you
originally
this,
from Nimba County.
I don't think we should really waste our time on this. I don't think this is a very substantive issue. The fact that we're getting him elected in
Mhm.
various offices
okay.
in Nimba
Mhm.
means that he's a Nimbayan and he's a leader. I think people must be able to serve, wherever they've been able to convince the denizens that they can deliver. We have a lot of Lufians serving in positions in Maserado County,
Okay.
etc., etc. So I don't think we should really pay too much attention to.
So
to
fast
where
forward
one
to
comes
today,
from.
you are no longer a member of the MDR.
No, this is that is a fluke.
The last time I checked,
I
you
am-
were
I am a member of
you were
the MDR.
either
I'm
suspended
still-
or
expelled.
expelled.
So what was it?
What-
Is it an expulsion
What-
or a suspension? What
They said both.
they said.
They said both.
And
Uh,
how did you take that? Because according to all of the news, you've been expelled or suspended. How did you take that? Since
Okay.
you're saying they said.
Okay, so my crime I committed
Mhm.
was to support the re-election of the president.
Okay.
When my party was not fielding a presidential candidate.
Well, you made to choose
in
between the
an
president
election-
and that of Prince Johnson.
but Prince Johnson is not running for president.
I mean, your political party's candidate.
My political party does not have a candidate.
Okay.
So, in an election where my political party does not have a candidate for the presidency, we support the president of our choice. I made the conscious democratic decision to support the re-election of the president.
And you got suspended and
Oh,
subsequently
and-
expelled for
and-
it.
And I thought that was purely emotional, immature, chauvinistic, and it had no legal basis, even constitutional basis. Our party's constitution at Article 12 is clear that you cannot pledge support to another political party. I did not pledge support to the CDC.
Okay.
I pledged support to an individual, the president. Yes, he's standard bearer of the political party.
Did you do that because
but
you
this
never
is-
wanted to lose your job?
But this
Oh.
no, not about that. I was convinced. I was convinced that the president had delivered, and the president is on track.
Okay.
I believe that where I come from, I just enumerated to you how most of our people on the ground feel
Okay.
about the president's developmental initiative and about the way he's leading the country so peacefully. So Ganta today is transforming itself. I think Ganta in the next 6 years, and when the president is leaving office after his second term, I think Ganta may probably take over Monrovia in GDP and in infrastructure development. I won't think so. Because you know what peace does, right? It encourages a lot of development to happen. So a lot of developments are going on there, and the president is encouraging. He's building roads. He's connecting cities. Look at the Ban High School. Go and see the Ban High School. Do you know how the people of Zogia district feel about the Ban High School? This is a phenomenal leap. Go and see the government school that was there before that transformation. I saw the thing, tears well in my eyes. I've never seen such a rapid transformation. When the president went on his country tour in Nimba, he stopped there. He saw the place looking so dilapidated. It was mournful. It was sorrowful. People in the Unity Party were blinded. He saw it. And he said, no, this is going to be my special project. He did this. He did it so speedily. I think it will soon be dedicated, but go and see the infrastructure. Go and see the touch of elegance, architecture.
So you made the decision void of job security
and
whatever.
It was devoid of job security. And I hear many people saying that, it's because he's protecting his job. Well, I think we should also protect our jobs.
Okay.
I think it's a good thing to protect your job, because if you do not protect your job, you're so reckless about your job, you're going to get another job and it will ask you for a recommendation from your previous employer. How would that employer recommend you if you were not committed and devoted and dedicated and tactful to your previous job? And I also think to serve in the public sector is a great privilege.
Okay.
And I think that the president has done nothing wrong that I should deny him. That they asked me to deny the president on frivolous grounds only because of somebody's personal aggrandizement. I am not that kind of robotic thinker. I am an independent person, and I am intelligent enough to know light from darkness. So I reckon that the basis, the reasons you have advanced to go against the president exist.
Okay.
They are off tangent. Relationships have been great. I think you played a key role in trying to sever this relationship. You unilaterally broke the relationship with the government, and not even as a political party. And I will beg, to agree with these kinds of tendencies.
So there was an expulsion. You, Gumpu Gagon, Melvin Yellow, and
right.
somebody else I can't record. I'm asking for your personal opinion on this matter. If there is a general position by the four of you,
There is.
Want to know.
We are three.
Okay, three of you.
Yeah. So I stated in our press conference held this week. So I stated in our press conference, and I stated that, look, we give support to the president when our party does not have a candidate.
Okay.
In 2017, when our party had a candidate running for president,
You supported him.
the very Prince Johnson himself, the very Jeremiah Kun today, who is ordering the party guys to expel us, did not support Prince Johnson in 2017. He supported Joseph Boakai.
Okay.
In the first round, he supported Joseph Boakai again. In the second round, he was never suspended. He was never probed. He was never expelled. In fact, 3 years later, he was rewarded by all of us with the senatorial position. We did not blink. We were not perturbed because we thought he was exercising his democratic rights. Although the senator complained to us, we calmed the senator down. But in 2023, upon becoming political leader of the MDR now, he sees it fit and proper to expel people who are supporting another candidate when he himself is not running for the presidency. So we have a precedent already. And we see this as shared vindictiveness, shared hypocrisy, and it was a violation of our rights and of the Constitution. So we explained our side to the Liberian people, and we have consulted our lawyers. We are going to go to court. We're going to have our rights restored because we believe we're never even given due process. You just jump up one day and say you are expelled. Is that how people? So the question we ask is that political parties are miniature of national government. In fact, just a very small subset. In fact, I don't even want to call it a subset. It's a fragment. You have a universal set. You have a subset. You have a fragment. I think you have a scintilla of a set. It does not even still qualify for a nano set. You can classify that, but it's just so small and so infinitesimal. If you cannot democratically govern that, people disagree with you, and then you found frivolous grounds to say you are expelling them from the party. That is not leadership.
So you're going to go to court.
So are you going to court? Yeah, we are going to go to court. We have assembled a team of one of the best lawyers you can find in this country to protect our rights. We are going to go to court. We are going to have our rights restored. We are still bona fide members of the MDR. I am an incorporator of that party.
Do you still have
like one second, please? It's like you're making a business. If you are an incorporator, you are a shareholder. What happens to my share in the MDR? We have 5 incorporators. Who was not even one of them. So I'm a shareholder. So you say you expel me. What happens to my share? And what is the basis for my expulsion, so-called expulsion? No due process was accorded. The Constitution was violated. You either out of emotionalism and you expect us to sit there and accept that kind of travesty? No, we love the MDR so dearly. Part of me lives in the MDR. MDR lives in me. The MDR is my political party. I love it. I belong to it. And nobody can arbitrarily harass me or intimidate me away from the MDR. So I am still a member of the MDR. Yes, I love the position they gave me. I did not reject it. So I'm still the vice chairman for political and governmental affairs of the MDR. We will go to courts, and the courts will mandate them to restore our rights.
Do you still have access to the party's chat rooms, via WhatsApp and other different mediums? Do you also have access to your office at the party headquarters?
Yes, I have access to some of the chat rooms, not all of them.
Some of the chat rooms.
Some of them, yeah, you know.
You've been blocked from some of the chat rooms. Wow.
They blocked me from some of the chat rooms. I have access to some of the chat rooms. But I speak to executive committee members, so most of them talk to me. I told them, I said, listen, if you really agree with the decisions we've made, then you gotta let your leaders to know that this is what you stand. If you remain mute, then you're a coward. But again, they said they're waiting for the appropriate time.
What about your office? What about your office? Do you have access to the office? Do you still have the keys?
I have. Well, those offices do not have keys. So
open door policy.
It's open. You just have one door. Once you open it, you are in.
So have you been there since the announcement of your expulsion?
No, I haven't been there yet.
So are you going to go there anytime soon? Because we want to confirm
I intend to visit my party headquarters this week.
Last time before we go to the lines to take calls, Mr. Bangura, do you still attend the church, the chapel? What is the name?
The Christ Chapel of Faith.
I'm told you are one of the board members of the church. What's the position in the church?
I am the theologian of the church.
Theologian?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you still go to service?
No, I do not go to service because.
Well, you put on senior bench.
No. That bench does not exist. It's not theologically consistent with the Bible.
Okay.
And as a theologian, I advise that bench should not exist.
Okay.
You find those benches in the old fundamentalist.
So why don't you go to church? That's my issue.
Well, I have not attended the church in recent times.
Why?
Because of my disagreement on theological grounds.
But it is not. It is.
I believe. Well,
I just
mentioned.
Is aside from the political party.
Okay. You said theological.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
Unless it's don't forget now, I'm theologian.
Okay.
So there's nowhere in the Bible where Jesus would take onto the pulpit, sets the gospel aside, and go into people's personal lives. Or take the pulpit.
You've sat in service before in Senator
That
Johnson.
has happened before.
Many times. In fact, he has even preached on me.
Okay.
And you
And-
were there.
And you were there.
I was sitting there, and
So when did you
Was it
realize
from that moment you stopped
when did
going?
you realize
No,
it was not good?
no. I am a very tactful person.
Just
Okay.
in church.
Okay, I'm a very tactful person. So I have given my advice. I have always consistently offered my advice that this is not biblical. If you do this, you sharp people away, and there has to be a way where you dichotomize between press conferences and sermons. The sermons must be completely dedicated to the passage of scripture.
Okay.
Of course, you can talk about social issues,
Mhm.
right? Such as the social gospels. Where you have social gospelists, you have the prophets who will preach about justice and righteousness.
Mhm.
And so you have those kinds of prophets, those kinds of preachments will come across. But if you will want to use the podium to talk about the lives of other people and talk about politics without any biblical injunction, will amount to what we call eisegesis.
Okay.
And eisegesis is where you read meaning, your personal sentiments, and your personal feelings into a biblical text. And as a theologian, I was weary about those kinds of tendencies. I
Mhm.
felt that
Did you advise the
absolutely.
funder?
I did. I was theologian. I was advised theologian of the church, and I said, "This is not how Jesus would do."
Okay.
Because you ask yourself,
So you used to be
what-
telling people Jesus
will-
not what Jesus
What
would
do
do.
they-
what
don't
will-
do their
what would
thing.
Jesus do? What would Jesus say? This is Jesus's church.
Okay.
This is not your church. This is not my church. We come here. We espouse faith in the Bible,
Mhm.
the biblical rate. So we must be able to subject ourselves to what is said, the precepts
Mhm.
that are laid down in the Bible. So I think this is a deviation from those precepts.
Okay.
And so but when it could not change, and I could not change it, I decided that we will all ask God to change this.
Okay.
So now it's a matter of faith.
So
And
So,
God,
so when did you stop going to the church? When exactly?
well, it's been a while now.
A year?
approximately.
No,
months?
not a year, not a year. It's not reached a year. I
the
think,
duration of your suspension?
couple of months. No.
Okay.
Yeah, because I
No,
want to
no.
be sure as to whether
They-
your political decision how real to play with your relationship with God.
The suspension, the expulsion just came recently. In fact, on January 23rd,
Mhm.
22nd was on a Sunday. January 22nd was on a Sunday. I was in church. I had gone to tell the senator that I was about to make a decision, that I will be announcing my support for the president,
Mhm.
and I needed his blessing and his opinion. And he said to me that, well, he thought that was a good decision because he himself will be following in suit.
Wow.
And yes, and he wants to dump Kun. And I said, well, and then I don't want to be a part of that because I do not believe people should be overtly deceptive. If you know you wouldn't support people, do not venture into that just with the intent of trying to dump them. If this is what politics is about, I have a problem with that. So I decided that I will. So on the 3rd, one Monday,
Mhm.
I remember these dates because I played with them. So then I had a press conference in Monrovia on Monday, and I said that I was going to be supporting the president. That was where my trouble began, and they went ahead and they did a suspension, but I was still going to church.
Okay.
So I do
Oh.
not tie mix politics with theology.
When did you join the church?
I've been at church for the last 6 years or so.
You I mean,
6
you're way
years.
beyond 6 years. So prior to 6
So-
years, I mean, beyond 6 years ago, where were you worshiping?
Okay, so I was at the seminary. I was attending the Liberia Baptist.
You left a church before
Theological
going
Seminary.
So-
before going to the
I was
seminary.
in Grace Baptist Church in Yikipa.
So did
Okay.
you join the church because of
Okay.
your support to Prince Johnson, or
Mhm.
what is that?
I
Was it-
decided to join everything this man was saying. I mean,
Wow.
every good thing.
Okay.
I joined the
So,
party.
so-
I joined the
it's clear that
church.
you've left everything
So
somehow.
you left the Baptist church to join
Went to the
the
seminary.
Christ Chapel of Faith because
It was easy to have joined the Christ Chapel because when I came from Yukipa,
Mhm.
I was dedicated to my studies at the seminary. I would go to chapel
Mhm.
at seminary's campus.
Mhm.
Graduated in 2009, and then in 2011, I was bitten by the bug of politics. I decided to go back to ask the hand of my people that I wanted to represent them,
Mhm.
and I started my affiliation with him. And he so encouraged me about the things of God.
Hmm.
And I said, well, I said, but then I can work with him politically and theologically.
So you've been
And so
Wow.
I decided that he said, well, then you can be my principal advisor in the church. So
Okay.
I became the chief theologian, just as Thomas Aquinas was the chief theologian of the Catholic Church. I was the chief theologian of the Christ Chapel of Faith,
okay.
and I will ensure that I advise him theologically in line with biblicity. There must be biblical injunctions for theological decisions we make. And so when these outbursts started to show itself on the pulpit, I would advise him that no, you cannot do that. You cannot use the pulpit to denigrate people. You cannot do that. If you want to do that, you can use press conferences, but you cannot interspice politics with the church or with theology. You can't mix the two. There has to be a line between church and state relationship. You can't blend the two. I know that this thing caused trouble for the Church of England, and it continues to cause trouble for churches around the world. Politics and theology must never be mixed, because one is moral, really, and the other one, which is supposed to be moral, people impute a lot of Machiavellism, which is equivalent to immorality. So you cannot put the two together. They are antithetical categories.
Lastly, before we go to the lines, are there no MDR supporters, partisans, quote unquote, non-PYJ supporters attending the church?
Yes. But
can you attend the Christ Chapel of Faith without being a member of the NDR or a supporter of Senator Johnson?
Of course, yes. A lot of people come there to the church who are not members of the party.
I mean, members holding membership, holding some church positions.
No, church positions, I don't think so.
So you must be a member of the NDR before holding a position in the church.
I think there's an invisible criteria about that.
Invisible criteria.
But there's nowhere that is written, but it just happens that most of the church leaders,
so everyone just goes
most of the church leaders are people who have background in being staunch supporters of the senator.
So we're going to the general elections, like just few doors away from where we are now, and I would like to know, you're from Nimba County, so people from the local government, are they still supporting the re-election of President George Weah?
100%.
100%.
Although they were recommended by Senator Johnson.
Yeah, so he still has influence over them.
No, he don't. He doesn't have influence over them. There are people
who are afraid to speak up when it comes to
what that they are speaking up now. So you know that the pendulum is shifting. Look, strange things are happening. I just recall last week, there were a group of elders and women, right? Who it's not the Sacrament event. This one happened in the auditorium of the PYJ Polytechnic.
Okay.
They disagreed. They even refused the food he offered. They said, no, they said, we are going to support the president. And we brought this white chicken to you to encourage you to go back and mend your ways and your relationship with the president, because we are not changing course. We will stick with the president.
It happened in the auditorium.
It happened in the auditorium
PYJ's own university.
PYJ own university.
Okay.
He got furious. He got angry. He walked out. His wife herself she got emotional. She started to cry on the people. And the people said, well, we're sorry, we're not eating your food. And they were determined. They held the ground and they stuck by their word. And the people left. And they said that if you don't listen to us, we'll stuck by you for the last 18 or so years, or nearing 18 years now. We are now telling you that we are with the president. And this is that is going across the county. So that whole belief that Nimba belongs to the MDR is not true. I just gave you the data. We have only 3 offices there in the legislature. And the legislature is a good barometer for measuring the popularity of a party in a county. If you look at the data, presidential election is 53.3%. So it means that 50% of the people in Nimba do not agree with what the senator says. They do not believe in what the senator says. And you can even go into the demographics of that 50%. These people are comprised of first-time voters who were born in 2005 when he first took office. They are now 18 years old. They will be voting for the first time.
Okay.
They believe in development. They believe in progressivism. They believe in choosing a better history for themselves. The second generation are those that were born in 1990. They were just a month old or a day old when the hostilities began. Those people are 33 years old. Those people too want a better life for themselves. These 2 generations have converged. They have decided to become the captains of their own destiny and masters of their own fate. These 50% of the population from Nimba have always disagreed based on the statistics of 2017 election. And these people are mobilizing their mothers and they're mobilizing their fathers. And so it was a group of women who are above 33 years old. So it tells you that they have even transcended that second generation I described to tell the senator that we are now with you. Some elders, so by elders means the generation of the war. They should be in the 50s, 60s, 70s or above. They were also there. So most of them are also somersaulting. They are committing generational suicides. They are joining the first and second generations of their children who did not see the war, and they are now yearning for more development. And they have seen that President Weah means well, and President Weah is their nephew, and he is one of their own, and he is running for president, and he has respected Nimbayans, and he has delivered on his promises to them, and he is determined to do even more. They have no basis, they have no reason to betray him, to deny him of the opportunity for their children to explore, to grow, and benefit more, and for the country to even open up more and expand. These people are interested in these things, so they are not supporting these incendiary rhetorics, or they are not supporting the senator or the Unity Party folks. They have their numbers there too. But I want to believe that we got boots on the ground with these shifting dynamics that's going on in Nimba. Essentially, Nimba will be a battleground county. Nobody can really boast right now of ownership of the county. The truest barometer that will be able to interpret that ownership will be in 2023 elections in October.
Okay.
And I believe the CDC can win Nimba. I believe so.
You believe the CDC can win Nimba? He's Wilfred Bangura, a staunch member of the MDR. According to him, that expulsion, quote-unquote suspension, got nothing on him. Let's take a break. When we come back, we interact with you, the callers, and allow guests to leave.
Sector to your door, whether you reach or you poor. If you see you must target, I mean you cheche. Do it for your safety. If you see don't keep it. I'm a part of people. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, Crime Stopper, Liberia. From the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stop it for all.
Crime Stopper Liberia is here for you. Remember, you see it, you report it. This is a message from your own self, Omen Sam Sion.
Crime Stopper, baby.
Okay, that's Crime Stoppers, our official sponsor here on 87.9. It is time for us to go to the lines now and interact with you, the callers, and those of you following the conversation from around the country and beyond. Those of you in the diaspora can join us on +231 86 500 104, +231 86 500 104. If you're watching, the number will keep rolling on the screen. Those of you in Liberia can join us on 086 500 104, 086 500 104, 0776 104 104 to be a part of the conversation right here on 87.9. Let's take the first batch of calls. This person, your name and where do you join us from? Hello, go ahead. Your name and where do you join us from, Chief?
Yeah, my name is Medicine Yadolo from New Jersey, and Nimbayan residing in the United States.
Medicine Yadolo from New Jersey, a Nimbayan. Go ahead, Mr. Yadolo.
Yeah, I just want to thank my brother in studio for giving the listening audience, the Liberian people that are not from Nimba, who do not understand the politics in Nimba, who do not even know the frequency, the true color. For some of us who know it very well, this is what we've been saying on the radio. I've gone on Freedom Radio many times and talking about this guy. I've gone on all the community radio in Nimba County, 6 City, talking about Prince Johnson. And I just want the guy in studio to be thankful. I want to thank him and thank the listening audience.
Okay.
This man has nothing to do for our country for himself. He has used our country for a personal benefit, financial and political benefit. His family, the daughter was given the job we are appointed as a board member. But he will come to tell the people that John has done nothing for Nima County. Nima County has not benefited. The road in Nima County was initiated by Manansedi. Look at deceptive talk, hypocritical talk. But I want to thank the brother from Nima County who is in studio for making a brilliant contribution to the show. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. We'll leave you right there. Chief, let's take this other person from the United States. Let's come to Liberia. What's your name? Where do you join us from?
Hello?
Hello, go ahead, sir. What's your name? Where you join us from?
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Let's hear you. Are you getting me? No. I think we're missing out on that person. Let's take this one. Go ahead. 1 minute.
Good evening.
Good evening, Chief. Let's hear you. What's your name?
Good evening.
Good evening. We're hearing you loud and clear. What's your name?
Thank you. Okay. And let me say something for Honorable Bangura.
Uh-huh.
My very terrible. Am I live?
You are live and direct. Go ahead, sir. You are live. Hello? Hello? Go ahead. Let's hear you.
I want to say thank you, my brother, Bangura. What is necessary? The way somebody that can say you. Somebody level is through some people from the IPA to Tata.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they won that election. 2017, when he was running, personally, I went to Ifuma. I told Ifuma, you say your son in a way, I want for your son to deal with the CDC, to campaign for him, we do everything possible for him to win. Ifuma told me, say, my son will break something, that break something breaking up in the politics, so he can move from here, break something. So for me, I told her, I said, for me, I'm a physician. I support anybody that wants to be CDC. And TV campaign for the person without the person giving me a dime. So we campaign for the current representative for District 3, Wadi, and luckily the man won. So what all the message is still at this. So still
Okay. Thank you very much.
I give credit for that.
Thank
Also, thank you. Then the people support the government and forget about Frank Johnson. The Liberians, majority of the Liberians are pledging the acting way supporting the government, not supporting Frank Johnson.
Thank you. Majority of the Nibarians you interact with on a daily basis are supporting the government, not Prince Johnson. This person, let's hear you. What's your name? Where you join us from?
This is Mr. Rodney, Peabody calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
North Carolina. Rodney, go ahead. Go ahead. You're live.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Bangura, I don't have too much to say because I don't want to put you on the grill, but I just want to say to you, as I look at myself as a young man, I want to say to you, you spoke well, and I believe that Liberians should start thinking the way you think, that it shouldn't be about all day travel or county. It should be about Liberia, and you see everything that the president is doing. So thank you for choosing the development over anything else. I really want to say I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rodney Peabody from Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's leave you right there and take this person on this line. Hello, go ahead.
Yes, I'm Joseph Dennis from ELWA.
Joseph Dennis from ELWA. Go ahead, Joseph.
I think Mr. Bangura make his point, and his point is clear. If people try to make you and you turn your back on them, I think it's a bad thing. Bangura struggle they can be out today. Today, Jamaica has come over and have made sure to depress the young man from the party, and which of course is not good. Bangura will stand by you. Support the president, and will stand by you. The president will win this particular election. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll leave you right there. Let's take this other person on the line. Hello, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Hello.
You got to leave the radio when you call.
Yeah, hello.
Go ahead, leave the radio.
Okay, sorry for feedback. This is Romeo Yanti, Alas Bishop, taking a call from District 16 resident.
Go ahead, Romeo.
Evening to Mr. Bangura. You know, as I sat quietly listening to him, you know, I almost fell asleep because his analysis was based on fact and you know, everything was in time. But you know, one time I was applauding him because for the he made to support the president in initiating in the developmental work, you know, which is very applauding. And you know, it's happening to this.
We gotta leave you right there. Let's take this other person. Go ahead. Hello.
Hello,
Go ahead, Chief. Let's hear you. Negro Town. Go ahead.
But know the right from the wrong. They no longer a child, they thank you. And no put on some men, when they know that we never get it, they no longer belong to him to say the ring, we never come, we never can any political party. This is why all the big on the matter for the president will know that imagine that there are a lot of people that people are free justice. So we know the matter for everybody and also we know we never get people for the president 2023 with the win is that nothing inside the president of the matter. Thank you for it. Thank you.
We leave you and take this person. Go ahead. 1 minute.
Hello.
Go ahead, Chief. What's your name? Where you join us from?
My name is Victor P. Tabo, coming to New Assembly. I'm calling from Battery Factory, Daquitan.
Go ahead from Daquitan. Let's hear you.
Brother, I just want to say something to our listening audience up here. Prince Johnson is one of the men that some of us will been with from 1990 up to present. Prince Johnson is one person who for the come at it. In Gaza, it takes 1,005. Prince Johnson was to get something out of Joseph Nyama Bega and kick in there and go back to George Manuel Weah. So everything he's doing, I think he's using on them. Prince can never leave George Manuel Weah alone. Always do all this. And we know he's very good. But that one person who used to be with Prince, I know how Prince behaves. Prince can kill someone today, ask for the person in his second term. At the end of the day, he will tell you that he loses temper. So these things are not strange to all. He just playing game with the guys. They just see that Prince is on top of team with them, but Prince is using 1,005 on them. Thank you for the show. May God bless Mama Labra and save our state.
Thank you very much. I will do a research on what 1,005 is, but that is something that we're just encountering. This person, go ahead. 1 minute.
Hello, my son Bagura. How you doing, Papa?
Doing well, thank you.
Okay, this is my sister. I was speaking to okay, man. I left out. I was speaking to them.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm angry with them. Yeah, my son, you spoke well. I listened to you, and I just sit in my little corner. This is the proper defender cheerleader, Bagura. Thank you for coming in to explain a lot of things to the Labrador people that they will understand it. What I want to say, small thing you thought it was dying, I can't that small, my child. So, tell us that thing that they build a side, it's enough. Who begging my son, don't tell us that because I'm making I'm also tomorrow. They let her hold you in that church, that demonic church. For me, what I would say, he just want you to say, oh, because I'm giving you position, so you're going to be able to advance. All the advice get out there. He said, what in Bagura? Nothing I meant to go yourself, open your mouth, say, oh, my mother Bible. When you go to your comfort, you just say, oh, your car, I'm going to open door, I'll open my mouth, why to tell them, why, how I feel about the president. Then the people will go to that place, get out there. I like to say, oh, why for your father, you can listen to gospel music. You will call up and say, oh, come to my child. What's that? As soon as you about the people, when they fall there, they fall down on this on it. So I think my son, if you say small, you got ain't no left your favor, my child. Tell your wife for that chip, God, you're beyond. And we will care you soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll leave you. We'll take this other person. Go ahead. Where do you join us from? What's your name?
Good evening, Karen Oliver Karen, and your co-host. And good evening to my esteemed brother, Wilfred Bangura, and to the Liberian people. My name is Milaya Z. Sharif.
Minister Sharif, go ahead. Let's hear you.
And I want to say thank you to Bangura. I know Bangura to be a very outstanding personality when it comes to his intellect and judgment. Like we all have listened, this is a demonstration that yes, indeed, people that are justifiably positioned to see Liberia moving forward will always be positive. Listening to his deliberations, he needs to be congratulated for his stance in ensuring not only President Weah gets re-elected, but continuity in development needs to be fostered, continuity in economic growth needs to be fostered, continuity in the well-being of the Liberian people needs to be fostered. And this is why we can tell people the re-election of President Weah is not going to be based on rhetorics or mere political talks. It is going to be justified by the tangibles that people can see, feel, and experience. And people will use their reasonings to, yes, indeed say there were not so many roads around.
Okay.
But we can boast of these roads. There were not so many medical doctors and opportunities provided, but we can see them. And with this transformation, people at Bangura and all of us who are on the train to foster the continuity of positive transformation, history will remind us, and history will bless us, and posterity will judge. Thank you, Bangura, for standing your ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We leave you. We take the last three, then we allow the minister to leave us. This person, go ahead.
Hi, KOK and Lexa, and how are you, Wilfred? This is Dickerson. I call from Cardwell.
Go ahead, Dickerson.
My sister, I know you listen to me. My sister, I beg you, please forget my channel because you feel about it too fast. I beg you to the issue.
Go ahead.
Okay, I've been listening to Wilfred, but I think he spoke his mind today. I think he decided to put everything behind him, and he spoke for Liberia. I just have a concern for him. Wilfred, there is a latest information that came from NEMA that had to do with the chiefs and other government workers that they're supporting the president for the re-election. And also there came a threat from Senator Johnson. How do the chiefs taking it? Are they responding to him and telling that they can't do anything, or are they trying to put for any other place? And next question for you, Wilfred, do you have future plans for running NEMA? If so, I hope you can do it because I think NEMA people are listening to you.
Okay, we leave you right there. Let's take the other person. Go ahead. Go ahead, Williams.
And so, Bangura, most of the students making on your phone, something then seeking Bangura, everything. So, what we want to say is that Bangura resolved in President Weah for 2023 to what there was no even bought. Even if the man can people, the web development is going over there, it's no more, it can be counted. So the poor, they know development, they know I got one person getting the growing. It's not only a very in the poor interest. Even the school that they order in the 4 years, and support in the party, as well as understand about it because we are sorry and make you understand that. So that brand will resolve. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We leave you. We take the second to the last, then we go home.
Hello, Kerrigan.
Hello, go ahead. 30 seconds.
Thank you. Tomo Nsabo, and I'm phoning from a strategic role in the Iyo community.
Go ahead.
Let me say greetings to Minister Wilfred Bangura. You know, Minister Bangura is one of the persons I admire over the years because you don't really see him into party politics when it's time to do the government work or the work for country. He does that. For our being, I think Bangura is time that you part away with the MDR. The citizen is open to everybody. People who you working for on a daily basis and they're not really lasting. I will man who sat on the constitution committee. You get expel the man. We are not saying that if you go out of the party doctrine, you can't expel him, but in as much as the man is in line with the party. But when the second thing, the MDR supported the CDC and Kun supported GMB. Why the MDR never expel Jeremiah Kun back then?
Thank you.
It's because of Jeremiah Kun now you want to expel other people because they are not supporting him. I think Jeremiah Kun already bought the MDR. And I will inquiry on our Bangura, you shouldn't be part of that commodity. Then you just leave that circle and let Prince Johnson just parade with Jeremiah Kun.
We leave you right there. The last person, you're the last caller. Go ahead.
Hello, Oliver.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Alexa. This is Elena calling from St. Paul's Fish.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Bangura, my son, I tell you, thank you for everything. What we never heard and what we're hearing today from you. Let God strengthen you, Papa. Don't pay attention to anything that place your mind leading you at that place you must go at. And that what you must do, the place your mind lead. Anything your man say you must do, that you must do. The thing one man say tell you, I hope you listen to him, my child. You get far way to go. You still get long life. That God be with you. Nothing much I got to say, but they short thing. Thank you. Yeah, God bless you.
Okay, thank you very much. The exceptional caller you are.
Thank you so much, Flavor. Let me say good evening to you and good evening to Mr. Bangura.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, even though I just joined the conversation, but from where I was listening, I think I want to agree with the minister when he talk about Honorable Prince Johnson should stop using the church premises, to talk about political issues. The fact that you see people even go to his church to church.
Oh no.
Talking about people, and I mean, to have two questions. The life. So I want to know the thing that he didn't do, to maintain the relationship with the president and the senator. And what can he do now to rectify that mistake? And another question is this: what key role he has planned to play in the October election in the County as a minister of government to
Okay.
enable the president more votes for Nima County?
Okay.
Because right now, everybody focus is on Nima.
Thank you. So you want to know what role Bangura is going to play. Thank you very much. We're out of time. We need to give the minister some time to respond. We're sorry. Everything in the studio that resembles a telephone will keep ringing, but we don't have the luxury of time. Mr. Minister, it's over to you for your parting comments.
Well, I want to say thank you very much for inviting me here. I want to say thanks to all of the callers for their opinions. Those opinions are well respected. I also want to thank the old man who called, and my CC, my Helena, and the other old mom. I want to thank the three of you and everybody else who called. And I think there has been a consensus on argument, so we wouldn't want to belabor that point any longer. But somebody called from the U.S. and they reminded me that the senator's daughter was nominated by the president to the board of Asila Metaya. That is correct. Deborah Johnson was nominated to the board of Asila Metaya. I forgot to include that on my list. So somebody was asking whether or not I should leave MDR to go to the CDC. I think a question like that was asked.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean they were kind of
encouraging me. Well, I think I'm an MDRian, and as I stated, is my political party. Is one of those parties, when you help to give birth to an institution, when you midwife the delivery of an entity, that entity is part of you. You just want to part ways with it on frivolous grounds, unless it is a deliberate personal decision that I want to make. But part of me is with the MDR, so I think I belong to the MDR, and I just wanted a reason to prevail, and truth must be told. Some of what I have pontificated on this show this evening, perhaps is the first time for other people to hear some of these truths.
Mm-hmm.
But I seriously want to believe that we must be always ready to stand up for the truth, even if it means that we will stand alone. So I will continue to dedicate myself to the re-election of the president. And somebody asked, what role would I play? I have begun playing several roles. We have, people who believe in us in the county as well. Of course, you already have 50% of the people who disagree.
Mm-hmm.
So our job is to penetrate the other 50% who have been voting. And this is going to go back to our villages we come from, our community in which we grew up. We are engaged with these localities. We are engaged with stakeholders and to ensure that we get the president reelected. And the responses we have been gleaning from these locales are quite favorable responses. So we are confident that the message is resonating across the length and breadth of the county. And by October, we will see the data. And I'm confident that we will be able not only to win substantially, but to prevail in the presidential votes in both elections. The people they believe in development. Go and see the nightlife in Ganta. I took a couple of pictures from there. I posted it on my status, and people were asking whether this is Liberia or out of the country, because Ganta now is the new destination for the weekend, and so maybe we should plan some weekend trips.
Oh yeah,
I can take you and give you a tour of what's happening and the developments that are going on in Nimba under the administration of the president.
Obviously, we're going to have a tour.
So all the good things that happen, these people are not prepared to jettison them only because certain few people believe they should be president too. Even though perhaps it's not appropriate time or they cannot achieve that, but it is foolhardy for a dog to believe that it can sup on the heart of a lion.
Wow.
These things are just impossible, practically impossible. So we will continue to be engaged with every stakeholder from Nimba. Of course, you listen to the petition that was signed by Nimpower, Nimba Public Officials for the re-election of President Weah. We are part of the Nimba grassroots movement. We're part of the Nimba for Weah campaign, and things are taking shape. Boots are on the ground. Transformation is happening. Somebody asked, what are those elders from local government and chiefs who signed the resolution, who were talked to by the senator, whether those people are still standing the ground? Oh, yes, they are still standing the grounds. They told the senator clearly that they were decisive in the decision. They have thought it through, they have processed it, and so they stood. And they made it clear to him, the women from District 4, VIP women made it clear, this message is metastasizing through the length and breadth of Nimba. And youth and student communities and other stakeholders are seeing these things visibly clear, and they themselves have made up their mind to support the president. So it's a political wild wind of change that is blowing across the landscape of Nimba County, across the Nimba land, because they've chosen development over incendiary rhetorics and empty talks. So they are fully on board with the president. We just need to do more work. We need to keep more boots on ground. We need to do more engagement with the people between now and elections time and beyond. We must not only get engaged because of election, but after the election, we must still be engaged with them. But I can tell you that after 6 years, my goodness, you will see some homes and some development, some businesses, and some establishment anybody you will never find anywhere in this republic, because the people are taking advantage of the roads, they're taking advantage of the infrastructure, they're taking advantage of the opportunities, they are transforming their lives, they are going to school, free education, and a lot of good things are happening. So yes, we are on track, and we are headed to a beautiful destination.
Okay, here's Wilfred Bangura, the vice chair of the MDR. According to him, he's going to court. So until then, he is still with the MDR. There are two songs in the country making airwaves at the moment. Tomorrow, we're going to be having a premiering edition of those songs. One of them is George Weah Must Go. I mean, people who don't want Weah in power. Listen to it. All right. So that one is saying George Weah go, we tire, George Weah go. Those are the people who do not want George Weah to remain in power. Now, the other group of people say, George Weah, you got to stay. Listen to it.
Just we are with there. Just we are with there. Just we are with there. People still love me, folks to say. Just we are with there. Just we are with there. Just we are with there. Development papa, folks to say. We not play again. They can fool up again. Our eyes obey the till they get before it cannot repeat. Yeah, just we are with there. Just we are with there. Just we are with there. Development papa, you forced to say. You get tangible. And we should be grateful. Then he will do more. And when we pull him back again, he will finish all the goals. Oh, he just made a children once see. And he teaching the old man and fantastic to say. But who got no water from God, so he will never let us in the least side. Just we are with them. Just we are with them. Just we are with them. People still love me, people to say. Just we are with them. Just we are with them. Just we are with them. Development background, people to say. To all the first time voters, I say you be careful. They don't let it all up and let we was small for Joe. But we were staying in Europe and he left for the people. So all the things that he thought.